And he said, I lost my mother at 11 years old. I couldn't sleep with myself. I was the reason for taking a mother away from her kid. I just couldn't do it.
Perfect.
Spec, since the last time we chopped it up, man. Prayers up for Tory Lanez. You know, God was on his side, man. He was stabbed 14 times in a California prison by a 42-year-old inmate named Santino Casio. Even Lanez's own account on Instagram putting the stories that Tory was attacked 14 times, including 7 wounds to his back, 4 to his torso, 2 to the back of his head, 1 to the left side of his face. Both of his lungs collapsed, and he was placed on a breathing apparatus. He is now breathing on his own. Despite being in pain, he is talking normally in good spirits and deeply thankful to God that he's pulling through. He also wants to thank everyone for their continued prayers and support.
Yeah, man, lucky to be alive.
Very lucky to be alive. He's serving a 10-year prison sentence for obviously the shooting of Megan Thee Stallion, which is the timing of this is a little funny because I believe this was like the same week where quote unquote new evidence has come to light in the Megan Thee Stallion shooting.
Oh, really?
Yeah. There was a press conference. I believe this happened after his stabbing, but I want to play the audio from it. But basically, he had a press conference in which there's a group of people they call Unite the People. They're like a group of lawyers that seem to be taking the Tory Lanez case. I don't know if there's his actual like hired lawyers, but they seem to be taking an interest in it. They could be possibly be getting paid by it.
Long ago, Unite the People was approached by a gentleman named Bradley James. Mr. James informed us he was working as the bodyguard and driver for Miss Kelsey Harris during Mr. Peterson's trial. As such, he was in close proximity and he had privy to conversations she was having with her husband and others. Mr. James informed us he was not under a non-disclosure agreement or a confidentiality agreement and was free to speak with Unite the People. Mr. James informed Unite the People that he was witness to the conversation Miss Harris had where she stated she had the gun, she fired it 3 times, Mr. Peterson grabbed her arm and knocked it down, and the gun fired 2 more times. In essence, Mr. Peterson never shot anybody, never even touched that gun, never fired the gun. Our district attorney, George Gaston, Megan Pete, and her representatives, and Kelsey Harris and her representatives. The only party that responded last week was Megan Pete's representatives with a request for more information. A few days later, Mr. Peterson's brutally attacked in his jail cell.
The second audio there was trying to kind of like tie the 2 events together, that once they contacted
they put a hit out on it.
Megan's people, they heard back from Megan's people basically saying they wanted more information, but then obviously the stabbing had taken place, which is a wild thing to put out there. Definitely a wild accusation for lawyers to make against another just a person at all. Jason Lee, who has Hollywood Unlocked, released a text from Tory Lanez kind of saying the same thing.
Completely from everything, just like I said. I said, well, why didn't you just say who did it? Doing time for something you ain't do. He said, I took the rap for Kelsey, never wanted her to go to jail, and I never wanted Megan to get hurt or anything. So in me stopping her from getting shot, I got the raw deal. Crazy how life works. And to think they made me the poster boy for the unprotection of black women, when in all honesty, I protected 2 black women, 1 from getting shot and 1 from going to jail. Never said nothing in 8 to 10 years for them to live. It's a crazy, crazy place we live in. I said, but why you ain't just say that? When I got shot, I told. And he said, I lost my mother at 11 years old. I couldn't sleep with myself. I was the reason for taking a mother away from her kid. I just couldn't do it.
But because he had lost his mother at a young age, he did not want to take another mother away from her child for whatever amount of time. Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I'm trying. Like, that's where it gets weird for me. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you really knew that, I don't know. And I never really had that much interest in this type of thing. I always kind of was like, this is pretty cut and dry. Like, wouldn't you know what I'm saying? Like, no, but apparently it's not. I just don't know why Megan, if she was shot by somebody else, would want to not say that person shot her.
I mean, it was her friend
and then,
at one point.
Well, but are they still friends?
No,
like,
no,
I can't imagine after that happened or whatever, went down.
Also, she lost her mother. So
you could be the same boat that Tory's in. Maybe.
I mean, I don't know.
That's a wild thing to
That
do to
is weird,
somebody,
though. Like,
but what if he saved your life? It sounds
Right,
like in the story,
exactly,
like,
so-
it could have been a lot worse. If that's how the story went, no, we don't know that. But it's just like that. It's just too much. Like,
I'm like, what?
yeah, like doubt and something funny happened, and I don't necessarily know if what we think is the truth is the truth.
No, because nobody's talking. Like, no, so it's just kind of like
It seems very fishy. But I'll say that if Tory Lanez is sitting in jail for something he didn't do, and then now on top of that has been attacked in jail, it's really crazy. And like people gonna always be like on the internet tie things together, be like, well, Mexico is right next to Texas. And Megan Thee Stallion from Texas, and wasn't that a Mexican that's standing out there, California? And you know they got the connect. That seemed far-fetched too, to be honest with you. But anything is possible, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, this is just a sad situation. Like it really is, because you got a dude locked up who had a promising career. You know what I'm saying? He's still making music in there. This is always going to follow Megan Thee Stallion around. She seems to be moving on, but if what she's being accused of is real, I mean that's
yeah, it's tough.
put a black man in jail. Like that's it. It's hard to support that. You know what I'm saying? Falsely put a black man in jail.
Right.
Excuse me. Yeah. Like, hey, snitch if you got to, but to falsely put a black man in jail, and that's the other thing. I think that we got as literally. I mean, I'm just talking to hip hop culture. If you in the streets and all that, but there got to be a thing where we look at hip hop as like a career. Like Snoop Dogg has said some cool shit in an interview I heard of him this week on the Breakfast Club, where like I guess Warren G felt some type of way of not being. You know, Snoop just put out a new album, and they just dropped Missionary a couple months ago with the Dr. Dre Snoop album.
Oh yeah, I never listened to that.
And now Snoop put out his own joint, but I guess they were talking to Warren G. And you know, like media people, they like to stir up trouble, so they possibly could have been trying to stir up trouble. But basically, they said that Warren G was like, I would have liked to just be in the studio. I didn't even have to be on no songs. I didn't have to be no collaborator. I just would have wanted to be in the studio. Where it's just that's like I just want to be around my people. I want to be around love. But then Snoop's side of it was like, when I work with Dre, I don't bring nobody with me.
I don't bring my friends to work.
Yeah. Why would you bring your friend? This is a multi-million-dollar career that Snoop has had. Like, he's worked hard to do it. He's put work in. And he said it that's a real grown man thought. Like, why am I taking my friends to the studio? Then I got to be responsible for what they do and, like, what happens. And, like, that's really how we need to start looking at hip. Like, this is a job. Like, right. So we got to get out of that street.
But in you know, contrast to that statement, I mean, it is hip hop, and hip hop has always had the entourage, right? And so it's been a staple. You know, you bring your peoples with you.
Yeah, for security. A lot of times, like when you're young, or you know what I mean, or it's just like young people. Like when we were younger, we walked around in large groups of people. We don't do that now in our 40s. That's right. Be kind of weird. So it's like. But I say that to say we got to also the same way to grow up from that. Like it's not a diss to Warren G. Like, it's not like you wasn't invited or don't come along. It was like, this is work. Like, if we needed you there.
No, he wasn't invited. So.
But if we needed you there for a specific purpose, we would have called you for that purpose. But to just be in the studio smoking blunts, like, we passed that. We don't need that. So we also got to move on from like, yo, Tory, if you ain't shoot this person, what? It's not snitching if you say I ain't shoot her. Like, you going down for a crime.
Well, didn't he say I didn't shoot her? Or did?
But if you know the true situation, like, bro, you gotta take the fall. Like, that's the thing.
Because he didn't say she should.
Yeah, that's the thing where we're conflating. Like, because where they're gonna be like, oh, well, he's a snitch. So he's supposed to go to jail for something he didn't do that he's being falsely accused of.
Well,
how does that make sense?
I mean, you know what Giannis said. Where I come, snitches get stitches.
I'm not the guy that points fingers because in my neighborhood, snitches get stitches. So I don't want to say something.
That's what I'm saying. Like, we got to get away from that because it's been muddied. Right. Like, that snitching shit is like me and you get in a fight. Something happened. It don't work out well for me. I go tell on you. Right. Me and you sell drugs together, and I get jammed up, and I know I can get less time. I go tell on you. Well, if Tory Lanez is being accused of shooting somebody, and in fact he saved her from being shot. That's snitching? Like, come on. And if you're sitting in jail for 10 years now getting stabbed by random dudes doing life, it doesn't seem like a smart mentality. We got to move on from that. And I don't think, and I'll be honest with you, I don't think Tory Lanez would have caught the 6ix9ine treatment for defending himself in that manner. That's two separate things. Like,
yeah, I mean, if it went down like we're hearing now, that's not necessarily snitching.
Yeah.
I mean,
but somebody's gonna try to obviously paint.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, but
I think he
about
would have had a flourishing career without it. Like, I really would have. It would have been a hard argument to kind of paint.
Gunna still has a career.
Exactly. No, 100%. You're right about that.
And that situation could have been worse. Is worse than
somebody look at it like that's your homeboy.
Right.
I look at it like Gunna shouldn't have been going down for something anyway. Like, but some people might. Not everybody's gonna look at that the way I look at it, but. Yeah, 100%. Like you said, so Gunna might have had it worse than Tory Lanez would have had it. I feel like if he would have just been defending himself and saying that. But to each his own, man. But you gotta live with the decisions that you make. And now you and Gen Pop with people that might not have the best intentions for you. And you know what I mean? You gotta take what comes with that. What's good, y'all? It's your man DJ Playboy, and I'm here with my guy Spec, and we representing for the Perfect Talk podcast.
Make sure y'all like and subscribe, people.
And of course, hop in the comments, let us know what you thinking. And go check out the website, www.perfecttalkpodcast.com. All the episodes right there.
Yes, sir.